all of the work going into the national census of Uzbekistan was being presented. The data culture is very rapidly rising, both at the regional level and at the national level, and it's super inspiring. The world is starting to look at Uzbekistan very heavily. Everyone actually wants to win and to grow for the future. Talent base is super young, super educated, super technical. We would say we want to help all of our partners make the best decisions they can. And to get there, we need to use numbers and data, right? So that's the TLDR of the company. We want to help all of our partners, all of our friends at the end of the day, make the best decisions they can across all decisions they make. And then the main thing we want to do is we don't want to make decisions for anyone, right? That's one of the questions we get all the time. We just want to give them the tools and the numbers and the insights, the analytical insights for them to make the decisions that they're already making, right? Because they know way more than we do about the goals of the country and about the decisions that they want to make for the region. But we just want to give them the tooling and the numbers and the data. And so we don't want to be changing decisions. We just want to empower them to be made in the best way possible that they can. And throughout all of that, we realized that the best companies in the world have a level of data depth and a level of analytical insights that are so deep that allow them to just spend money wisely and invest really well and have capital be a weapon for growth for them. And then I lived in Hong Kong for a while, between 24 and 25. And then in those years, I realized that leaders of places like Hong Kong, of places like Singapore, of places like the UAE are thinking about growing their economies in a very similar fashion to how the leaders of these companies were. And so with that in mind, I realized that they were thinking about how do we attract the users of this economy, which are the founders, the startup builders, the investors, the talent, the workers. They were thinking about how to attract companies, how to attract the economic engines of these countries, the factories, the industry, the data centers now, the companies to operate and open subsidiaries, and also how to attract capital, how to attract foreign direct investment and different LPs and capital pools from around the world into their place. And so I saw that the fundamental ways in which network effect businesses were grown in private sector before were also very similar to the ways in which public sector governments that were forward-thinking and very technologically minded were thinking about growing their economies and their own network effects. And so with that in mind, we're like, well, if the best companies in the world have all of the data to measure these outcomes and to measure these incentives and subsidies and these initiatives that they do so well, and then they actually have success and they actually grow, then shouldn't the best governments in the world have access to the same level of data and to the same level of data infrastructure and data engineering talent that these companies do? And so with that in mind, last year, we decided to get together, me and some brilliant co-founders and technical talent that we got. And we decided, well, let's stop building these data systems for the private sector. Let's start working on the biggest data problems we can find, which are going to be with governments, with cities, and with government-adjacent institutions and organizations, and help them with the toughest data challenges they have so that they can have access to the same level of analytical insights that the best companies in the world have. And hopefully they can optimize the growth of their economies over the long run as well. So I would describe it as rapidly rising. I think that's the main thing. And that's one of the things that got us super interested in learning more about the country and then coming here and then working with the country as well. If I can give a little bit of background on that, we attended the World Bank kind of meeting online where all of the work going into the national census of Uzbekistan was being presented. And then we were super impressed with kind of the ambition and the depth of ambition of the country actually utilizing data to make decisions better. And so after that point, we just started building some data platforms for the country just to show people here. But we would say the data culture is very rapidly rising, both at the regional level and at the national level. And it's super inspiring and it's going totally in the right direction. I honestly think that the most surprising thing was how forward-thinking and how ambitious they were in a relatively small region, right? So they weren't in Tashkent or in some global capital of the world. And the level of talent that we found there and the level of ambition and the level of technical expertise and technical savvy that we found working with our partners there was just super inspiring. And it was way higher than first what we would expect before we met people in the country, and then also way higher than what we found in other places around the world that we've been with and worked with. And so I think that was like by far the most inspiring and surprising thing was everyone that we worked with there was just very, very technical, very smart, very ambitious. And even people that were very young and doing this job for the first time we're already like super turned on into all of the AI topics, all of the deep data analytics topics, and even macroeconomical topics that we bring in terms of the discussions. We were just super pleased and impressed with all of them. And with Andigen, we started an initial collaboration, which was, can we build a beautiful data interface for all of the data that already exists for the region and for the country, and then for the city as well? And so that took two main paths. One of them is essentially an AI-based analytics platform that has all of the public data about the region, the city, and then how that integrates with data about Uzbekistan as a country as well. So that's going to be macroeconomic data, demographics data, societal data, education data, all of these main data points that matter when you want to present a region to the world, or if you want to present a region to companies and to investors outside. And then the second thing we started developing with them, which is more recent, is we're essentially starting to develop what a digital twin of the city would look like. And so for that, we're mapping out all of the buildings, all of the roads, all of the public services, from hospitals to universities to fire stations and all of the rest, and then represent that in software so that decisions about new public sector launches or new buildings or new zoning laws, etc., can be informed with the data that they have in the digital twin. Once we integrate more and more data, then we have new insights that any single data source by itself wouldn't be able to get to. So, for example, for now, we've just been using public data that we found either from satellites or from local statistics work done in Andigen, or from data from the NSC, the National Statistics Committee of the country. But so we haven't actually developed net new data yet for this platform, and it still has insights that are new. And that just comes from integrating all of these different data sources and then being able to run correlations and run patterns across these things. And so with that, for example, with Andigen, I think the most interesting ones that we found were, for example, proximity across all of the population housing to different public sector services that they have. As mentioned before, what's the average proximity to hospitals? What's the average proximity to roads, to clinics, to fire stations, to hotels even, right? If you're talking about attracting tourism. And then the second one was about FDI and foreign direct investment, because one of the things that's going so well in Andigen, as well as just Uzbekistan as a whole, and that's the reason why we're here for TIIF, is that the world is starting to look at Uzbekistan very heavily and to invest capital and to bring companies here, right? And you've had a huge number of companies being incorporated in Uzbekistan across all of the IT parks especially, and that shows really well in the data. And then you also had a lot of dollars and a lot of capital from the rest of Asia and even beyond getting invested in different regions of Uzbekistan. Then with the Andigen region, we also mapped stuff like what's the trade balance and what's the commercial balance between that region and any country in the world, right? And how do we compare that with the balances between the overall country of Uzbekistan and different countries in the world? Just to see, is there a region, is there a country internationally that's particularly relevant for Andigen, that's even more relevant for Andigen than it is for the national Uzbekistan? And so it was data like that. And so this is like one of the ways of looking at it, which is if we integrate data really well, then we can find these insights. I think the second one is if we can have an AI data analyst, which is what we built for them, then anyone in that organization, be that people advising the mayor, people advising the IT parks, people working in the IT parks to attract startups, to attract capital, or even people presenting Andigen in TIIF, for example, all of these people are going to have a dedicated data analyst, which is an AI, that's going to be working for them 24/7 whenever they need. And so even if they're not technical, even if they don't know how to run a Python notebook or a SQL query, that's no worries at all. They can just ask a correlation, a report, a presentation slides from all of the data we've built for them. And then in a couple of seconds, they're going to have a super deep analysis, just like a human data analyst would produce for them. So you're basically empowering all of the people there with a dedicated data analyst that can just work for them and build any report anytime. Our collaboration with players around Uzbekistan is very recent. It's basically our newest deployment and newest collaboration, and that's why we're spending this time here to learn more and meet more people, and honestly to leave even more inspired than when we came in and when we landed about the progress of this country. I would say main differences we found, honestly, we found that across all of the regions we chatted with, and we've chatted with many regions so far, especially at TIIF, I think the commonality across all of them is that everyone actually wants to win and to grow for the future. And everyone actually wants to do their job really, really well for the benefit of the country, which is a type of mindset that seems obvious once you say it that way, but it's not common around the world at all, in governments around the world at all. And so instead of focusing on cultural differences, which there are a few, but I think they just add to the richness of our experience here in the country. But I think the commonality and the common thread across all of the people, from Andijan to Fergana to Samarkand to Tashkent region, Toytapa and Tashkent city itself, is that everyone, be that more senior people in government, be that more junior people that are just starting out, everyone just wants to actually do what's right for the growth of this country. I think the main things we would love to contribute towards is, I think there's essentially no change in direction or no change in vision that's needed, right? Like the vision of this government, of this country, and the direction that the country is already in, it's just, everything is there. Like all of the pieces are there. The talent base is super young, super educated, super technical, right? The average age of the country, I think, is like late 20s. 60% of the people are below 30, and they're all educated. They're all, they all are trilingual, right? Which is one of the things that impressed us so much. And they're all like globally minded as well in terms of how they work and the tools they use and the type of work that they get done. And so I think the building blocks, the direction, the vision is just really, really amazing already. And so I think a lot of our goal coming here is not so much working on that type of direction setting or vision setting, because we just honestly love it and love the way that it is. Our goal is to just help speed the technical part of that up. Right? So we just want to be an additional partner. We want to be an additional player that just contributes towards the actual vision that's already in place and to the development that's already being had for the last 9 years and a half, right? But for the last 9 years and a half, the country has been opening up to the world, to global capital, to global companies, and to global talent. And we just want to help grow all of those metrics and the attraction of these metrics, attracting more capital, more FDI, more companies, more global players, more international capex, right? Like data centers and industry and factories and all of the rest. And we want to help optimize the attraction programs and optimize the measurement of all of these attraction programs that are happening from a data aspect and from a quantitative aspect. And so we look at it as, we don't want to change any of the high level things because they're just so great already. We just want to contribute and speed it up from the technical side, which is what we do best.